oh my god, what have I done? That I was just sat in this Snapchat eating my bread, like, naked. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another story time. Today my story time is on, drumroll please, the time I was naked on my Snapchat story. Yeah, look, no one's judging you for watching this video, but we all know you clicked on here for the title, so it's alright, I would click on it too if it was me. But anyway, yeah, this is, unfortunately, I wish this video was clickbait. It's not clickbait, it is a real story that happened to me, and I thought, it's happened, it's out there, why not just share it with the world now? So yeah, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. Let's get into it. So when I was, I'd say like 17, 18, 19, I used to love going out. I used to love going out and having a good time, and I was kind of obsessed with Snapchat. Like, I used to love taking a Snapchat story. This is definitely in the era when Snapchat was like popping and everybody was obsessed with putting things on their stories. Everyone would Snapchat to their friends like every day. It's when everybody was just obsessed with using it like all the time. It was the new big thing. So if I was going out and like having some drinks with my friends, having a good time, I would Snapchat like nothing else. But it was all in a good nature. Everyone was having a good time. I would usually wake up in the morning and delete them all, but that's what social media is for, right? Like drunk posts and deleting them in the morning. So yeah, I just wanted to explain that before I got into the story, that I loved to Snapchat and I loved to Snapchat everything. This story takes place about a year and a half ago. I am not someone who ever really goes out anymore, and I rarely ever drink. I'm not a fan of going out. I'm not a fan of drinking. Like, the thought of it makes me feel ill. I will only do it now on like really special occasion, like if it's like a really close friend's birthday and I really want to have a good night with them and that's what they want to do, then fine. Like, I'm open to the idea, like I will do it, but I'm definitely not someone who goes out very often anymore. But back when this story takes place, they're a little bit different. I guess I was more open to the idea of going out like over a year and a half to 2 years ago. And when this happened, we were on a night out. I can't really remember who was there, but yeah, it was an occasion where we went out, had some drinks, things got a little bit more drunken than we expect, and then we ended up going home probably around like 12:30. So I arrived back home and everything was as normal. I had taken Snapchats throughout the entire night of our night out. So when we got home, I was sharing a room with my boyfriend, and we got back, we were just getting ready for bed as normal. I was like taking off my makeup, things like that. I remember I was halfway through putting on my pajamas and I had to run to the bathroom to throw up, so I wasn't very well. I definitely had too much to drink. My boyfriend had gone to bed, and at this point, because I had thrown up and I had drank quite a bit, I remember thinking that I should definitely get some food into my system. So what I did is I went to the kitchen. We had some bread rolls in there, so I grabbed a bread roll and I went to bed. Now you're probably thinking, where is this story going? Hold on, the naked part is coming, okay? This rambling is not without necessary. It needs to have this in the story. So after I got my bread, I came back and my boyfriend had gone to sleep. I was sat in bed on my phone facing this way, just looking through my Snapchats that I'd taken so far in the night, because at that point I had drank enough that I didn't even really remember what had gone on that night or what Snapchats I had posted. So I wanted to have a look and watch through them, and I just remember like laughing, thinking like what I posted was really funny. And as far as I knew, that was it. I went to bed after that and the night ended. But oh, how I was wrong. The night did not end there. So I woke up in the morning and for a second I thought everything was fine, but suddenly my hangover crashed and burned on me, and I realised that I'd gone out the night before, and I had that moment when you wake up when you're hungover and you're kind of like, where am I? What's happening? Like, what happened last night? Like, have I got my purse? Have I got my phone? Have I got my money? Have I got my cards? I kind of had like a panic moment where I was checking that all my stuff was there, and I grabbed my phone, pretty much the first thing that I always do, and on my phone I had like just random notifications, and I saw that I had a message from one of my friends. Now, my friend that had messaged me, we live on opposite sides of the world, so when she messaged me, I was kind of like, oh, I should check this message, like it might be something important, it might be something interesting, because I don't get a message from her every day. So I opened up the message. I opened up her message and it said, Gemma, you're naked on your Snapchat story. As you can imagine, when you read a message like that, my like heart just like dropped. I was like, oh my god, what have I done? Because I was already in this state where I didn't know entirely what had happened last night. I was kind of collecting all my stuff together, collecting all my thoughts, just in that initial moment where you wake up and you're like, what happened last night? Like, where am I? And that was like the first thing I read, and I just instantly began to panic. In that moment, I didn't even want to like know what it was. I didn't even want to know who had seen it. I just quickly like rushed onto my Snapchat story on my phone, and then I deleted every single thing on there without even looking. I was like, delete, 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 and I think I pressed the Snapchat that it was for like 2 seconds, realized what it was and where it came from, and then deleted it. I didn't even want to know what it was or who had seen it, for that matter. If I could go back in time, I would probably look on it and see who had watched it, because that seems like the reasonable thing to do. Like, I didn't even need to panic really, because people that had seen it, it could have just been like all my friends, or like people that it wouldn't have even mattered about. But that's one of the biggest things that gets me now, that I don't even know who saw this Snapchat. But I do remember that about 20 people had watched it. So it's not the end of the world, but it's 20 people who did not need to see it. So anyway, I delete all my Snapchats. I was majorly freaking out. Yeah, so I went back to my conversation with her, because I kind of realized after a couple minutes of panic that she had watched it, she was my friend, and she was going to be able to tell me what was in the Snapchat. So I went back and I was like, oh my god, what was in the Snapchat? I was like, could you see anything? Like, how much of my body was on show? What was I doing? And it turns out that I was just sat in this Snapchat eating my bread, like, naked. And if you're wondering why I was naked, I just have to say, remember what I said before about how I was half getting changed into my pajamas when I threw up? And after I threw up, I realized I needed to go get food. So I hadn't finished getting changed. So in the Snapchat, I did eventually manage to find it on my phone. My Snapchat's automatically like saved. When I did manage to watch this Snapchat eventually and find it, I looked so bad. I literally had like half taken off my makeup, had mascara like all down my face. I'd thrown up, so I looked horrific to begin with. And I basically had my pajama bottoms on, and I was just eating my bread roll. So luckily my arms were like covering my boobs, so you couldn't actually fully see them. You could obviously see I was naked, and I was like shirtless, but like covering like the middle of my boobs. So it was the most embarrassing Snapchat ever. I didn't even know how I took that without realizing, and then added it to my story, but I was just dead. And obviously when someone tells you something like, oh, you're naked on your story, like the panic that goes through you in that moment, I'm telling you, the panic that goes through you in that moment, especially when you've been on a night out. I think that's everybody's worst fear, like accidentally like posting that to their Snapchat story. But I have to say, you live and learn, and everything happens for a reason, because maybe it was saving me from posting something even worse one day in the future. Because I have to tell you, after that moment, my Snapchat stories were never ever the same. I never Snapchatted a night out to the same extent again. I kept it very, very minimal. Yep, now I only Snapchat my food, and we keep it PG, you know, we keep it PG around here. Yeah, so it definitely taught me a lesson. My Snapchat story was never the same, and I like to think I've grown up a bit since then, but that is the story of the time I posted my naked video on Snapchat. And yeah, I guess some people might argue that I wasn't fully naked and you didn't see anything vital, but the damage was still done for me and my Snapchat story, and things will never be the same again. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know what you thought, and please subscribe. I definitely want to do more story times because I really enjoy filming them, and I think everybody has their own little stories and experiences that they would love to share. So let me know if you want to see more, and I'm definitely going to try and think of some other stories that I can tell. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one.